Yeah, pambana kijana. Life is too hard, life is too short. Shao kwa nangu wacha ghetto. Usikate tamaa. Jua kwamba ipo siku tutatoboa. Tutatoka. Gang for life. I am the true name.
You know Grandma's gonna flip if she sees that thing in here.
I'm Dennis, your grandma's new boyfriend.
Blessed love, people, blessed love. I am not even on point tonight. I'm trying to shut this thing down and I don't know how. I really don't. Blessed love, people, blessed love, blessed love. Here we go. My people, I am not going to be on for long tonight. Not as long as last week anyway, because right now I am so ill. I hope you've all had a wonderful week. I'm really struggling. I said I have to still come on today. We've got a young lady coming forward. I need you to give her lots and lots and lots of love, people. Oh my God, I'm so ill. I just about made it through work today. Big up to the sistering as well that I saw in my lunch hour today. You know who you are if you're watching. Give me a wave, or if not, then you know and I know. But yeah, big up to the sistering that I bumped into on my lunch hour today. Brothers and sisters, it has been, as always, an active week, but actually not as bad as last week. It's been really, really calm compared to last week. And I've not been well either. Do you know what? Everybody around me has had this cold from God knows when. And, you know, everyone, all my kids, people I know, all the rest of it. So I'm hoping to get through tonight without spluttering and coughing everywhere. I've only taken sort of herbs and garlic and the usual organic stuff. But yeah, finally I have succumbed. I've succumbed to the cold that everybody's got. Took me months. I've not been sick since last summer. So I don't get sick a lot, not that way. I usually suffer with my stomach if I suffer with anything. You know, I'm easy to get food poisoning and an upset stomach, but colds, not so much. I'm suffering today, people. But without further ado, let's get through the program. So you guys might have seen, I didn't have it up for long, but I did have it up. I was sent a video and it's a disturbing video. So trigger warning, trigger warning, trigger warning. Can people put trigger warning? Can the mods put trigger warning in the comments? Because I think people join at different points and they don't actually see what's going on. So put a trigger warning up because there is some stuff coming up tonight that is really quite distressing. Let's talk about Bucky first. We've talked about him many times here. His victim story was told here. He has been charged. For those of you that don't know, let me see if I've got a picture of him still somewhere, people. I should have a picture of him somewhere. Not sure if I do. Let me try and see. I don't know what's going on here now. Long. Ugh, everything's slow tonight. I'm slow. The systems are slow as usual. And it's all very long. I haven't got a picture of him. Look on my Instagram for the guy called Bucky, aka Quincy White. If you didn't watch last week's live, watch it back and then you'll see a picture of him and you'll understand who I'm talking about. I can't even be bothered to search. Oh, hang on. I might be able to do it. That's if I still have a picture of him. I'm not sure that I do. Oh my God, I'm hot. No, I don't think I do. Anyway, he basically has been charged. Now we're happy with that. The victim's happy with that. That's the way it ought to go. We would be so grateful if every victim of the perpetrators that we've called out would take the steps that this sister took and get the victory that she's got in terms of a charge, at least a charge. We know what the stats are. I've said it many, many times here before. I've said it many, many times here before. We know what the stats are with that. It's very, very low in terms of a charge and then going on to get a conviction. We pray that she gets a conviction. And albeit that I absolutely detest rapists, pedophiles, women batterers, and all those people that we talk about, I hate those people. And in your heart, you think to yourself, yeah, they deserve a good bashing. They deserve whatever. But I believe that the rest of us have humanity within us, you know? And I got sent this video about 3 times. Well, it wasn't at once, but I opened my DMs one day earlier on this week, and it had been sent by 3 separate people. So I held on to it for a while because I thought, well, I don't want to post that. I can't post that. Shall I do that on the live? Shall I show people? I don't know. And then it just kept coming at me. So lots and lots of people have sent it to me because it's been doing the rounds on WhatsApp. I don't know if it's been on Instagram. I haven't seen it, but it's definitely doing the rounds on WhatsApp. And I was sent it in my Instagram DMs as a video. So at that point, I decided, well, hey, it's out there. Seems to be quite prolific. I might as well update my followers as to what's actually happened. But I take no glory in it. I want to make that really, really clear before I show you guys. I take no glory in it because, you know, as bad as things can be and as bad as that individual is, I believe, because we believe that victim, and so does the CPS at this moment. Albeit that he hasn't been convicted yet, but the CPS has made a charge. And let me tell you, the CPS don't bring a charge unless they think they can win it. That's just how the CPS works. You know, the evidence has to be there for them to bring that charge. Now, I take no pleasure in it, is what I was saying. I take no pleasure in it because when the humanity kicks in and you see another person suffering, it's pretty hard to swallow. So I've kind of got mixed feelings about this. On the one hand, you know, my old hardened Caribbean trait says, serve your right, and that you forget. But on the other hand, my compassionate side says, oh, God, man, he's taking a beating. So let me share the video with you people. Let me just turn off my camera because I received this earlier on this week, and this literally happened less than a week ago now because we're at Friday. It happened less than a week ago. So he pleaded on he was charged on the 30th or 31st. There was some confusion as to when that actually was. The 30th or the 31st is when he was charged. Now, I'm going to give you the edited version simply because I don't want YouTube to mess with me. But I'll describe what is in the original version. And that is that he's basically being attacked with a knife. He's clearly been beaten up already in the video. And he's got no trousers on, but he does have his underpants on. And at some point during the video, his underpants are pulled down and put around one leg. And you can see the knife man advancing. I didn't air it, albeit that I aired it for a little bit of time and then took it down because I didn't want it just there running. I didn't air it until I got information as to what happened next. So by all accounts, he's okay. It looks like they were just scaring him and giving him a bit of a cuffing. And he's okay. I can say that categorically, he's okay. Or maybe he's not okay. But, you know, he's presenting as okay. Let's call it that. Let me show you the video, guys. So, yeah, that's what I would say all about the black. Mentally, I don't think that he's okay. He can't be okay after all of that. But, you know, as a man, he'll front it. I would much rather these guys face their retribution in terms of a court case, a prison sentence, and obviously an outing in the community. That's what I would rather. But I cannot take responsibility for how people take things into their own hands. And what I do want to say as well excuse me, people. What I do want to say is that I do know quite categorically that this attack on him is not connected to the victim who approached us. It came out, it transpired. He'd gone to prison in the interim between the investigation, the allegations made by his victim and the ensuing investigation. In that time, he went to prison for another offence. That's what happened, basically. So he went to prison for another offence, convicted, served that time, and towards the end of that sentence, the police brought charges with the case that we know about. That's what happened. So he was actually indicted with that while still in prison. He actually was charged with it while still in prison. And then the question was, would they release him from the crime that he was in for, or would they bail him and put him back on remand so he'd never come out in between now and the trial? They chose to bail him, is what they did. So this left him open, I guess, because while he was inside during that period of time, before the charge, before he was charged with the rape of the lady that we know, it transpired that there were other victims. There were other victims, people that were known to him from within his circles or whatever, and there were other victims. So that's what this attack is about, the other victims that have come out. It's nothing to do with the attack that he's been charged with. I just need to make that very, very clear. And as I say, yeah, Lady Dimples, it is you reap what you sow to some extent, but I still felt a pulling of my heartstring. I still felt it. You know, I don't know why, but I did. And I just had to say to myself, when I really sat and thought about it, that's about the humanity that exists in decent people, surely. You know, it is. It is. I don't know how I'd feel if it was my daughter or my relative or my friend or whoever. But maybe I'd feel like the knife man or whoever else was doing what they did. It is what it is. But that's the latest update on him, people. The main thing I want to talk about tonight is Kindoki. So Kindoki, for those of you that don't, I'm just going to put the word in the comments. Kindoki. Yeah, there it is in the comments. Kindoki is Congolese. I believe you say Lingala or Lingali. I think it's Lingala. It's the language they speak in the Congo. As well as French and broken French, Creole French. But Kindoki in that language means the spirit, you know, and there is a deep belief in the Congo of Kindoki. Even in British-born Congolese individuals, there is a deep belief in the Kindoki. So the Kindoki is witchcraft, really. It's a spirit that can dominate people. It can possess them. That's what Kindoki actually is, right? Now, it isn't just related to Congo. It's widespread all over Africa, the Middle East, and other parts of the world as well, where they believe that children can be possessed by witches. I would say that it's particularly prevalent amongst the Congolese and French African-speaking nations. So this is an issue. Now, like with any issue, just like with the Windrush issue that we've been talking about for 2 and a bit years, it is transferred through migration, practices, beliefs, cultures, norms, and so on. I don't need to teach you guys how to suck eggs, right? So, sorry, people. I don't need to teach you guys how to suck eggs. So, of course, with the after the wars in Congo and the migration of Congolese people here, first as asylum seekers, many of them, some as migrant workers, overcame the culture to the United Kingdom. And I think that the authorities first started waking up to this around the kind of mid-2000s, I would say. Early to mid-2000s, when we had the death, first of all, of baby Adam, whose torso, a little boy called Adam, who they ended up actually tracing him through DNA. It was quite clever, all the way back to Nigeria, but only his torso had ever been found in the Thames, is when England woke up to child sacrifice. of the African kind. It's always hidden its own child sacrifice in the form of devil worship. And we're going to be exploring a bit of that kind of abuse going forward. We've got some whistleblowers coming on in the coming weeks to be talking about stuff like that. So it should be quite interesting, but it's an area that we don't want to look at. And I think a lot of people in our community believe that, you know, child sacrifice, child torture, the worshipping of spirits, the fear of spirits, all of those things that make up satanic ritual, whether it's called that or not, is not prevalent in the Black community. And it is. It's very prevalent. It is carried by, as I say, Congolese, Cote d'Ivoire, French-speaking Africa, but it's widespread all over Africa, especially in the villages. So Kindoki, in the Congolese context, we're going to focus on Congo tonight. And I'm going to play a documentary that I came across on YouTube. I've been aware of the subject for many years. I used to do radio, as I've said to you guys before. And the young lady that's coming on tonight, I brought her on many years ago onto radio to talk about her story at a time when nobody was really even that aware of those kinds of things. She's a very dear young lady to me. She's also an amazing young lady, and you guys will see her when she gets there. She's due at about 10:30. So, inshallah, as the Muslims say. So in that time, giving her a chance to get on, I'm going to share a documentary with you guys that kind of it's about 20 minutes long. I don't think I'll play all of it, but it gives you a real kind of consolidated insight into what Kindoki is, its origins, how it manifests. It's not too gory, not compared to the ones that I've seen anyway. And I know at least one of our mods has made a documentary about it in the past. So it's something that's widely known now. Let me just try and get this up. Right. So yeah, take it in, get some education, because what I really want to talk about is the fact that Congolese churches that do this kind of thing have sprung up everywhere, in garages, in people's homes, in a lot of places, and particularly around the North London area as well. Tottenham, Wood Green, you know, Edmonton, these types of areas. They've sprung up and they're held in secret. You know, only really those who know. But it's way more prevalent than we understand. And it's something that I think that we need to really start looking at within our community and raising awareness about it. I remember when sickle cell had to have awareness raised about it in the 80s. Nobody knew about sickle cell. So, you know, these are things that we need to bring to the fore. I said last year that we're going to be doing less call outs. We still will be, but we'll be doing less call outs and more widening the conversation around sexual abuse in the Black community, particularly violence against women and girls. And we're hoping to get more and more men as well. Big up to Double D. He was so brave last week to come and tell us his story. Apparently I asked him for an update, and the sister hasn't said a word. Well, of course she hasn't. You stupid cow, if you're watching. Take this in, my brothers and sisters.
In a flat in East London on Christmas Day in 2010. Today, his sister and her boyfriend were convicted of his murder in one of the worst cases of child abuse ever seen in Britain. Magali Bamu and Eric Bakubi will be sentenced on Monday. Their brutality was driven by a belief in Kindoki, that Christie was possessed by an evil spirit which had to be driven from him. Angus Crawford reports on an extremely disturbing case.
What took place in the Christie Bamu case?
Every once in a while, something comes along so masterful, it leaves you in awe. So inspiring, it changes your life.
Joe Biden's presidency has always been a
but now is literally was finally drowned in a bath in a flat in East London on Christmas Day in 2010. His sister and boyfriend were convicted of his murder in one of the worst cases of child abuse ever seen in Britain. Magali Bamu and Eric Bakubi will be sentenced on Monday. Their brutality was driven by a belief in Kindoki, that Christie was possessed by an evil spirit which had to be driven from him. Angus Crawford reports on an extremely disturbing case.
What took place in the Christie Bamu case is a leap to something utterly feral. It goes way beyond the bounds of anything that I've encountered before.
It's not the first time, no, for sure. Within our community, there are so many children who are suffering in silence or dying in silence as well.
2 years ago, Christie Bamu travelled from Paris with his siblings to spend Christmas with their sister Magali. He arrived here in East London on the 16th of December, but he never left. Christmas Day, 2010. Paramedics are called to this flat 248. In the bath, they find a 15-year-old boy. He's dead. He has 100 separate injuries. There's blood splattered on the floor, on the walls, even on the ceiling. The abuse began when Christie wet himself. The bathroom door was locked and he couldn't get in. Embarrassed, he hid his underpants in the kitchen. Eric Bakubi found them and accused Christie of trying to pollute their food using kindoki or witchcraft. Over 3 days, he and his siblings were made to fast and pray. But Christie was singled out. He had floor tiles smashed over his head, was hit in the mouth with a hammer and tortured with a pair of pliers. By Christmas Day, he was begging them to let him die. Finally, he was put into a bath of water. As Christie drowned, Eric Bakubi talked about the power of God. In the hours before Christie died, he spoke to his father in Paris. He begged to be collected from London because he said Eric was going to kill him. But by the time Pierre Bamu had borrowed the money for the ferry, his son was already dead.
Mais une douleur au cœur, et cette douleur.
There's a pain in the heart, this pain. I can't explain it. It took me at least a week and a half.
C'est dur, madame, très dur. C'est des choses.
It's tough, really tough. This is unimaginable. The children went to London because I had confidence in Eric, but one of them came back in a coffin.
Il y en a un qui m'est revenu dans une boîte, dans un cercle.
But to understand what happened to Christie Bamu, you have to look at the Congolese culture of kindoki.
What has happened in the last 25 years, and particularly the last 15 years, is that this idea of kindoki possession has just taken hold in the DRC, in the Congo. And it's very rare now that don't actually think it's real and who don't believe in it. So we could be talking about 20, 25 million people in the Congo, and not just the Congo, in other parts of Africa, and indeed outside Africa, who believe in this possession by witchcraft or kindoki.
In the past, it was believed only old people could be possessed by kindoki, but the DRC has been devastated by poverty and war. Children were forced to become child soldiers and so became objects of fear. Evangelical Christianity has also swept the country. Mixing ancient and modern, many pastors preach about the physical presence of evil and witchcraft. And it's now children who are seen to carry the contagion of kindoki. These beliefs also know no borders. They've simply followed migrants as they move to Europe.
Where it is very, very prevalent is in these communities where everything is justified on the basis of belief, misfortune, poverty, sickness. It can lead to neglect because people will stop looking after the child. And here we've seen cases where children have been refused food to starve them in the belief that to weaken the evil spirit. That's completely
Paola seen the Mamu as in the DRC. For someone to be. Kindoki, to be possessed by evil spirits.
Not like when you say is it possible, they are. You watch Harry Potter.
In the name of Jesus, God.
In 2005, since the day in wide police was set up, and there's now a national working group chaired by a government minister. Like those that Eric Bakubi came here to the Holloway Road in London looking for Nigerian churches to back up one of the most high-profile evangelical churches in Nigeria. Children receive their instructions from the devil to wreak havoc in their homes. Cases like Eric Bakubi are very rare, but professionals fear potentially dangerous and abusive beliefs are escaping the relative control of churches and going underground.
Case where a exorcism or deliverance or something of that sort has taken place within a home. Victoria Colombier, child B in 2005, and now this case, Christy Bamu. This is very disturbing. In the Congo and in other parts of Africa, I'm not going pastors do for us, certainly not in some of these new churches, but at least there's a measure of control. What happened here was totally out of control, and nobody seemed to notice or have any idea of what was going on because they did it in their home, and that's very frightening.
Though not regular churchgoers, Christie's killers did have, but where? 20-hour religious channels on TV and online, or DVDs, easily found on this market in East London. My guy doesn't want to be identified for fear of being ostracised by his community. Walking down here, how easy would it be for you to buy videos which talked about Kindoki and deliverance?
The shop there, there's a shop there with that guy around the corner.
And do people take them seriously, or is it just entertainment?
A bit of both, but it's never questioned.
So people never question that
Don't
Kindoki
question
exists?
Never questions.
And that children can be possessed?
Yeah, no one will question that.
We took what we bought to a local cafe to watch. So this is the kind of stuff we managed to buy just around the corner.
Yeah, just picked it up, yeah.
So we've got some which have got really quite lurid covers, and others which are really just bootlegs, aren't they?
Yeah, bootlegs, yeah.
But all of them have got scenes of deliverance. And
Deliverance, yeah, heavy,
of
especially this one, yeah.
In this drama made in Kinshasa, a pastor miraculously heals a blind boy, driving out the evil spirits.
But we don't know what is happening underground. The suspicion is that other children might be suffering the same atrocities, but they haven't been recognized or seen.
It's the evil spirit speaking. You see that? That's the spirit of disease.
There are those in the Congolese community who want to go on. Here, opposes and then demands money. It's been shown to police, social workers, and churchgoers. Since the death of Victoria Climbié, the authorities have focused on tackling abuse, not the beliefs behind it. Some, though, feel it's time to recognise there are ideas just too toxic to leave unchallenged.
The bloc is white middle-class people who don't want to touch the liberal multicultural agenda. John Sentamu is saying once that the ultimate no-no for a white liberal was to tell a black person that they're wrong. But actually, we have to get through this. It's beyond just skin color, and we've got to grow up. It's only a matter of time, I'm afraid, unless we take action, before there are more children that are abused, or indeed, horrendous though it will be, killed because of this belief system, which is why we have to tackle it.
The Old Bailey was told that Eric Bakubi and Magali Bamu came from chaotic, dysfunctional backgrounds. For them, witchcraft was real and powerful. It gave an explanation for their every misfortune. In their fear and anger, they turned on a child who couldn't defend himself. Christie paid with his life for their warped and distorted faith.
Angus Crawford reporting. We'll hear more from Angus in just a moment. I'm joined now, however, by Bishop Joe Aldred from Churches Together in England, Debbie Arillo of Afua, Africans Unite Against Child Abuse, and the Reverend Modeste Muyulu, who's a Congolese pastor of the French Christian community at Bethel Church. Bishop, first of all, how widespread is belief in Kindoki in Britain, as far as you know?
I suppose it would appear as though, because we don't really know, that the belief may well be widespread. It's probably also useful to set belief in witchcraft in a much wider context. It's not for
Yes, people. Oh, hang on. Have I gone on, taken my camera off again? Yes, so there you have it. That gives you a real kind of quick whistle-stop tour of Kindoki. I've just had a text from a sister that was supposed to come on. She's unwell, so she's not going to be able to come on, unfortunately, which means that I'm going to come off. I am suffering, people. I've got a temperature. My chest is burning. I'm just about keeping my eyes open and whatever. I am going to put the link out because that's only fair and wise. If anyone wants to jump on to have a little quick chat about what they've seen, let me know. Or if you've got any knowledge of that. Because as the man said, particularly towards the end, I think he was an African pastor or something. As the man said, it is widespread. We saw the image of people walking through a market in East London, and I'm thinking, which one was that? Whitechapel Market, Roman Road. There's a few, but it was a market in East London where you could actually get information about Kindoki, you know, and whatever charms and material paraphernalia that you need towards that. So it's prevalent. It's prevalent in our community. It's happening. Children are suffering. And it's something that we really, really need to be aware of. And look, most of you have heard of Victoria Climbié if you're of a certain age. And she was a little girl from Cote d'Ivoire, I think, who was brought here as a young girl, I think at the age of 6, by an aunt who promised her mum and dad that she was going to bring her to a better life. And she didn't. She very quickly decided that this little girl was a witch and subjected her for the next 2 years to the most horrendous torture and abuse. She finally succumbed to her injuries in a bath, had been locked in a bath in a plastic bag for days, a black bag, been chained to the bath, I do believe, in freezing temperatures. She'd had hot water poured over her. She'd been hideously tortured. And Haringey Social Services missed all of these opportunities to save her, a little bit like Baby P, you know. So she made headline news. There was a whole inquiry, the Victoria Climbié inquiry, and that really awoken Britain fully to the issue of Kindoki in the community. So unfortunately, we're not going to be able to hear victim testimony today or survivor testimony. But hopefully maybe Sis can jump on next week. We'll see what happens. Guys, I'm going to go. I'm so unwell. I'm so unwell. I'm sorry if you've just joined. It seems like enough people want to join like coming up to 11 o'clock, maybe because I've been late a few times. I'm not even going to, let me put out, the link is there. I think I put it out, did I? I'm all over the place. You know when your head is fuzzy? No one's going to jump on. Miss Kit is saying, get some rest, Afua. Dose up yourself and get an early one this week. No long thing today. Okay, blessed love, sis. Blessed love, blessed love, blessed love, people. Thank you so much for being understanding. Oh, piss off, Bricky mindset. Get him out of here. You just get on my nerves. You get on my nerves. You know that Bricky mindset about you look okay to me. This guy's just here for antagonism, honestly. Some of them. I wanted to talk about that stalker guy, actually. You remember I mentioned him, but I'm going to deal with that next week, guys. Blessed love, people. Paula Smith just put up the Cash App. Yep, do that. It's in the description tonight. I actually remembered this time. Hit the like button. I think that makes a difference to something. I keep getting told by moderators to say it. And I hope you guys have a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful weekend. Blessed love, my people. Blessed love, blessed love.